Okay, enough of the whole pep talk. Let's go ahead and get Microsoft Access started. I guess that way we're going to exactly see what I'm saying, and probably you'd feel me. You feeling me? Okay, guys. All right, so let's start up our own version of Microsoft Access. I'm sure you're probably using an older version, maybe 2003 or 2007. I'm using 2010. I'm going to try as much as possible to flip through all of those parts. So don't just get scared. Okay, there's need nothing to get scared. Now, basically, when you start up Microsoft Access, you're going to be seeing a screen with a whole lot of arranged information. I was going to say confusion there. Okay, arranged information. Nice. All of these are arranged according to categories, and so you want to pay particular attention to what you want to do before you get started. Now, before you can be able to get started with any particular database you'd want to work with, we've already mentioned that there are several ways you could, or several places you could use it. If you recall the small examples we just gave in the last video. Now, notice that we have by default the first item you would always see opened or selected is going to be blank database. And what blank database enable you to do is that it's just going to simply open a database that is empty, that doesn't have anything inside of it that you would work with. Now you might not understand what I mean by this is a database, so maybe I'll just go ahead and open a template that would show you a view of some databases that we have here. Okay, that way that might make more sense to us. So I'm just going to open a database from the sample templates, and you could, or you can see several databases here, from assets web database, charitable, blah blah blah. Now I like to show us one that might interest you, or okay, probably I'll make it two. Mhm. Okay, now I'm going to open the students database and create that database. Don't worry, I'm going to come back to everything I've done so that you'd see what we're doing. I'm just trying to use this to show you what a database would look like in Microsoft Access, so that we actually know what we are trying to do. Okay, now in this students database that we have here, there are several informations that we can gather from this database. Whoa, it's large. Okay, now in this particular database you can see some nice arrangement, something very similar to your Excel worksheet. The only difference here is that it's nicer, and it has some extra functionality that you do not see in Microsoft Excel. Okay, so you want to keep that in mind. Now notice that here we have several titles at the top. Okay, several titles at the top, and each of these titles are referred to as fields. Okay, each of these titles are referred to as fields. What I mean then is ID, first name, last name, email address, business, and all the rest there, they are all referred to as fields. Okay, now as you can see in here, when you begin to enter information, let's say we're entering information like that there. Okay, when you begin to enter information there, notice that your ID field automatically enters a numeric number of 1, and the same thing would happen if I come down here now to enter another name. Right now, as I am entering a different name, you see that I essentially or immediately get another numeric value. Now these are parts of the things that your database will do for you very nicely. Now it has several other things that you could do here, like we wanted to get a new student. See what happens when I clicked on that, and just let's just hold on for it. Beautiful. I get something that is large. Now this is a database form, where it's just similar to what you would have when you open an actual database, or when you get a document to fill. Yeah, that's the statement to use. You get a document to fill, you begin to enter all your information, you insert your password and all of those things. This is what a database is doing, and this is essentially what we are going to learn how to do. Now looking at the left here, you would see some, at this stage, let me call them pictures for our level. Okay, never to worry, when we talked about the objects that we're going to be working with, let me go back there. Yeah, the objects we're going to be working with, I talked about um, tables, queries, forms, and reports. Fine, I'm just going to point out some of them here. Now, in this particular database that is opened, I have a table which is simulated by this particular icon. I have queries which are simulated by this icon. I have forms simulated by this icon, and then I have reports. Now just notice the difference between all of them. If you see that at the top of this I have the icon for a form, and so I can say that I am working with a form here. Now if I were to look at the table, let's see what we're going to be seeing. We should be seeing something like that. Now notice the difference. The table is quite clearer compared to the form. Your form has some extra tools there. Now if we're opening our queries, we'd also see some slight difference, just a slight difference from what we have here. I'm going to explain that much later, so don't get freaked out, okay? And then if we're looking at the reports object, you can see how it displays. So we're going to be looking at how we are creating these objects: a form, a table, a query, a report. It's very simple. Believe me, I'm not joking. Okay, if it's a lie, what would you do to me? Give me a hug. Okay, if it's a lie, give me a hug. At least I tried. But truthfully, it's quite simple. Okay, um, the main foundation is you understanding how the tables work, and I'm going to try my best to make sure you understand how the table works very well. Okay, I'm just going to back up now and then get us started with what we should be doing now. Now, what we simply did was at this point was to look at some sample templates, and so it's going to be a nice practice for you to probably play around with some of the templates over here. Look at them, study them, see what they do. You know, it's going to like give you a good grasp of what you should do. Okay, you might want to spend some time doing that. Now, I'm going to now spend some few moments in explaining all of the sections in a database that we're going to be working with. Okay, however, before that, let me remind us that for us to start working with a particular database, we should be using the blank database. All these other databases that are placed under office.com templates, they are databases that you can only get from Microsoft website, which means that before you can access any of these databases, you would need an internet connection. Is that clear? You would need an internet connection before you can see any of these. And it is once you have the internet connection, you can download some of those databases and work with it as your templates to work with. And in case you might have an issue understanding what we mean by templates, templates are more like guidelines, okay, that like help you to, or should I say, like go 50% to completion of what you need to do, and so you can just fill in the blank, so to speak. It has already built up your database more or less. You're just filling in the blank to just wrap up your work. You're no longer starting afresh as in the case of your blank database. However, your blank database tends to give you much more power and control over your database that you work with. Okay. um, Now, in the next video, we're going to see how we can begin to create our blank databases, and then how we can actually start working with the basic objects that I have mentioned that we are going to learn. And so I hope you're ready to get excited, because I am, and I'll be seeing you in a bit.